What is cracking? What is cracking? What is cracking? Yeah, man, y'all know the deal. First and foremost, happy 2019. Let me see if I can get a little bit of better light. Bam! Happy 2019 to everybody. I hope everybody's new year is starting off great and just wonderful, yeah. So, as we start off the new year, you know, I always got to smoke and smoke on the finest. Got that cherry pie, right? Always keeping me high, man. Always keeping me going. But yeah, let's just hop into it. I don't even want to waste no time. So check it out. So on the Instagram, right? On my Instagram, I had somebody ask me to do a video about daddy advice. Yeah, and I want to give a disclaimer to everybody is that, you know, I'm not a perfect father. By no means. I'm not a perfect human being by no means, none of that. So, daddy advice, right? So check it out, man. If you're a dad, young, old, single, married, whatever, that shit's a learning curve, bro. Like, to all my parents, dads out there, right? I'm 26 years old, right? And I never really had much of a dad in my life. Like, I had a good father, don't get me wrong, right? But in my circumstances, my parents were divorced. I lived in North Carolina for most of my life, and my dad lived in California most of the time, you know what I'm saying? And even though I got to see him a good chunk, you know, a good amount of time, I just never had a dad, like, in my life, day-to-day life, like, somebody I could come home and talk to about girl problems, you know, or whatever little boys talk to their dads about, you know. And my dad was, 45 when he had me, so you guys can understand the generational differences between me and him. Like, I saw the rise of the internet, you feel me? He came home, and I remember when he came home with a cell phone for the first time. So it's a little bit different from person to person and circumstance to circumstance. So nobody's story's the same, right? And it's okay. Like, you got your friends who are buying their kids J's and, you know, Nike jumpsuits and shit, and you might be feeling bad that you can't provide to them those type of luxuries, but you don't know what's happening behind closed doors, you know what I mean? So it's all right. It's all right to feel some type of way about that, like, you know what I mean? But just understand that being a dad it's a learning curve, man, and you got to just continuously try to get better. Like, we'll never be perfect at being dads. I will never be perfect at being a dad. Like, I still have trouble changing my son's diapers from, you know, he'd be kicking and squirming and shit, and it's like, oh, snap, right? But pause. Damn, that's good. So, think of it like, you know, think of it more of a sense of longevity than short term, right? Like, don't think about what you're doing so much right now as is what do you got to be doing as a dad in the long term, you know what I mean? Like, are you going to be there for your kids, for all these other things? Now, for my single dads, right, who might have, like, crazy baby mama issues or whatever, like, understand, like, you might say crazy baby mama or baby mama drama, but hey, you knocked her up. So cut her a break, you know what I mean? Cut her some slack. Now, doesn't excuse some of the behaviors that some of these girls be perpetrating, like, you know what I mean? But, like, pause, fam. And for a lot of you guys, remember, like, getting back at them isn't the goal. It shouldn't be the goal. It shouldn't even be in your prognosis. What should be the goal and what should be your number one, you know, motivator is the kids. The kids. That's it. It's all for the kids now. You know what I mean? For my dads, you know what I'm saying? Like me, who are artists, and, you know, us artists, we struggle enough just to get paid for the work that we provide and the services we provide. Like, it's okay, fam, to, like, be away from your son so that you could do what you got to do to provide. Like, you know what I mean? Not only for him or her or them, but for yourself. Feel me? Like, to be a good dad, man, we got to satisfy ourselves too. You know what I mean? Like, we got to make sure our cup runneth over. You feel me? Like, we got to make sure that we're taken care of too, because if I'm not taking care of my health, if I'm not taking care of my well-being and my overall mental state, then how am I even going to be present and even, like, worth the fuck as a father to my son? You know what I'm saying? And, like, people, like, there's got to be the checks and balances, like, that work, like, you know, people talk about work-life balance. You know, you got to have father-life balance too, you know? And it gets tough, and people just don't understand that, like, it's all a learning curve. Like, you know, going back to that first one, it's all a learning curve, bro. Like, it's okay. Like, you'll find your balance. You'll find it. But the thing is you got to do it wrong. You're going to do it wrong 5 or 6 times before you get it right. The right balance that works for you and your family. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love dancing. Everybody who knows me, I'll get into a fucking, like, whole spew of who I am eventually one day, but not now. But everybody knows me, knows I love dancing, like, you know, and I want to be able to dance and coach and stuff, but I just can't. I can't. I mean, I still dance, actively still dance, but I don't coach anymore. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it just takes up too much of my time, and I want to spend that time with my son right now. Like, you know, like, will it be in the cards for me again one day in the future? I don't know. We'll see if somebody makes an offer to me that I can't refuse. And if I can't refuse it, then that means it obviously works in my work-life balance, father balance, and all that. Like, you know what I mean? So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But I wanna take a second though and recognize that all my dudes out there, you know what I mean? Like, whether you're a new father, kids already graduated high school, or whatever the case may be, whatever anything might be, I need y'all to understand, man, like, we can always do better, right? And that's okay. Like, that's the whole point. Like we were talking about it the other day, was like, you got to show up every day to work. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know how to do your job already. You know what I mean? And you know that you're good at your job already, but you still got to show up to work. Like, you know, like Tom Brady. We all know Tom Brady is going to be a Hall of Fame quarterback one day, but probably greatest to ever touch a football, but he still shows up to practice. He still runs the drills, right? He's still labbing, and it's like, if he's still doing it, then everybody else on his team's held accountable. Like, every man, like, we are held accountable of being a father. Like, you know what I mean? Women too. Like, for my women out there trying to play 2 roles, or, you know, whatever. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we all got to show up every single day, day in, day out, clocking. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we on overtime in this bitch, because there is no days off when it comes to being a dad. Like, sorry, not sorry. But there's shit like that, right? And then just think, like, just think, right? Your kids did not ask. Our children did not ask to be birthed into this world. They did not ask for it, right? Everything that they do, whether they're, well, especially if they're, like, under the age, let's say under the age of, like, 15, like, everything that they do, they learned from their immediate family or their relations with their immediate family. So all that shit falls on us, right? And, you know, this society that we live in, where, you know, we should just give to our children, right? Like, you guys got to understand, like, us as men, we have to understand that if we treat our children that way, and when they grow up to have a sense of entitlement, it's on us. Or if we're over here yelling at mom, you get what I'm saying? Yelling at our wife, your son is more than likely going to grow up yelling at his mom, right? Or, even worse, ends up hating you. So, let's not make those mistakes. We're better than that. Yeah. Guys, I want to say one last thing. Is we are the spine of everything that happens. The American, especially in America, right? A lot of weight of how the family is and the status of the family generally falls on the man. The status of the children generally fall on the mother. You know, when you see a little kid doing something crazy, people say their mama must have not raised them right, or my mama would have. Like, you know what I'm saying? Dads maintain the house, like, overall home, right? Does not mean that we are any less of a parent, right? Or that we need to be doing any less as a parent. Like, oh, I bring the bread home, you deal with the kids. No, fam, you deal with the kids too. Because I'll tell you one thing. My kids will show Sydney the same respect that they show me, and they'll show me the same respect that they show Sydney, no matter what happens to me and her, No matter what happens. If she left me today and got with another man, I would still raise my children to respect their mother and to respect me. That's the biggest one, I think, that I wish I could tell every single guy out there in the world, especially those fathers. It's like, don't be afraid to establish that presence with your children. Like, don't be afraid to establish yourself as that person amongst your colleagues, family, and friends. Like, just don't be that person. And it's going to benefit you in the long run. If y'all get what I'm saying, it's going to benefit you in the long run. But I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to try to finish this bowl, talking with y'all and shit. But tell me what y'all think. Tell me what y'all want me to talk about next. If you haven't already, I'm going to go ahead and ask you guys. My dog. If y'all don't know already, follow me on Instagram at KORPSx, Korps, all one word, all lowercase. Or at KORPSxCollection, right? I post on there all the time. I ask questions about what you guys want to hear about, what you guys want to see next. So whoever wants something put in, get your input. Yeah, but until then, I'm out of here. Happy New Year's. Shout out my dude Marcus. Go follow him too. Yeah. Y'all have a good one, alright?